Welcome back to the council meeting, and we appreciate patience with any technical issues that we've had over the last few minutes. We're up to item 10, notices of motion, and we have one, and I'll call on Councillor Isa to present her notice of motion titled Notice of Motion number 2023/16, Maintenance Issues, VicTrack Land from Newmarket to Ascot Vale Stations.
Thanks, Mayor. I'd like to move that Council resolves to write to Metro Trains Melbourne as the manager of VicTrack Land, with copies sent to the Department of Transport and the Minister for Public Transport, the Honourable Ben Carroll, MP, and request a response to the following concerns raised by residents and traders of Flemington and Ascot Vale. A, residents have experienced difficulty raising concerns about the management of VicTrack Land and would welcome a more effective point of liaison and channels of communication. B, residents are concerned about the maintenance of VicTrack Land between Newmarket and Ascot Vale stations, including invasive weeds, stockpiling of equipment, long grass and the health of landscaping and trees that provide screening. And C, traders would appreciate the graffiti on the bridge over Racecourse Road near Newmarket Station being removed regularly to improve the appearance of the area and the visibility of the bridge, potentially reducing the likelihood of trucks hitting the bridge.
Thank you, Councillor Isa. Is there a seconder? Councillor Bedio. Councillor Isa, would you like to speak to your notice of motion?
Look, I think the motion's really self-explanatory. It's asking for a letter to be written about a number of concerns that have been raised by residents. Residents in particular would like it to be easier to raise concerns with Metro Trains so that they then don't have to come to council, don't have to go to their state MPs. They would like to be able to deal with Metro directly and to have concerns dealt with. And I would love that graffiti on the bridge over Racecourse Road to be removed. It would make a huge improvement to the area. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Isa. Councillor Bedio.
Not much for that other than I unreservedly support this. I would hope that if we get a good outcome here, we could look to potentially increase along the remainder of the VicTrack land within our municipality, because I note that even up in Moonee Ponds Way, we suffer the same issues there with pervasive weeds and significant amount of graffiti. So I'd be looking forward to seeing the outcome with this one, should this motion get up.
Thank you, Councillor Bedio. Would any councillors like to speak to the motion? Councillor Sypek.
Thank you, Mr Mayor. We also have a very similar problem up there in Border Reserve. But many years ago, we kept asking, we kept writing letters, we kept doing everything, and we got nothing out of it, Mr Mayor. So, you know what we did as a council? We planted trees and we covered all that graffiti, and Border Reserves now has got these beautiful lined trees around the back there, and you can't see no graffiti whatsoever. So that was a fix for us, but like Councillor Bedio said, there are other VicTrack lands around the place, so I look forward to this coming to fruition and hopefully expanding right across the municipality.
Thank you, Councillor Sypek. Would any other councillor like to speak to the motion? Councillor Nation.
I've just got a point of clarification, Mayor. To you, in writing these letters to Metro Trains, Department of Transport and the Minister for Public Transport, will you be putting the recording of the vote in the letters?
Thank you for your question, Councillor Nation. I wasn't intending to.
Thank you. Further point of clarification, then what instances would you include the vote pattern in letters that were arising from a notice of motion? Would that just be the ones that you don't support?
Thank you for your question, Councillor Nation. I'd say it's probably seeking my opinion, but even then it's a very broad question I couldn't give you an answer on. Perhaps I can speak with you about this offline.
Well, I've missed the boat with the issue that I was concerned about. I've obviously in chambers had to bring up a notice of motion about notices of motion to try to get some fairness and some consistency, and it just appears that there still isn't consistency when we are writing these letters, that some will be written with the vote recorded and some won't be. And from my viewing, it appears that at this stage, of the 17 or so letters that have been sent, the only ones where the vote has been recorded has been the ones, Chair, where you have voted against the motion. So I'm concerned that councillors are going to the effort, like Councillor Isa here, of raising a notice of motion to write letters that are of extreme importance to said councillors, and there's not a consistency with how those letters are being written, so some are not being fully effective.
Thank you, Councillor Nation, and I will remind councillors to not make reflections on the chair. Would any other councillor like to speak to the motion?
Finished.
There was, Councillor Nation, there was no question or point of order, so I took that as your speaking time.
I'm still speaking.
Please continue.
Thank you. I think writing letters is extremely important when we can't get traction in other ways. So it is a shame that particularly Metro Trains and VicTrack don't have avenues for residents to easily contact through Snap, Send, Solve or other modes to be able to share their concerns of things that need to be actioned. Hopefully, writing a letter in a consistent format that honours the resolution of council will see that we get some traction here. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Nation. Would any other councillor like to speak to the motion? Councillor Hodgson.
Thank you. Look, it is something, the VicTrack land, and particularly that nexus between what is Metro responsibility, what is VicTrack and what is council, is a really confusing thing, and we do get a lot of concerns raised by residents. So I'm also very supportive of this, and hopefully we can get a clear path forward on how exactly we can communicate with those three organisations that co-manage in some mysterious way quite a lot of the through very well trafficked areas of our municipality. Thanks.
Thank you, Councillor Hodgson. Would any other councillor like to speak? If not, I'll put that to the vote. All those in favour? That's carried unanimously. We now move on to item 11, urgent business. Councillors, do we have any urgent business? In that case, I'll move on to item 12, confidential reports, and we have none listed on the agenda this evening. So therefore, we will close the meeting at 9:50. Thanks very much for everyone joining us at home and in the gallery, and have a great week.